Season 1 of Bridgerton opens in London in the year 1813. Anonymous newsletter columnist Lady Whistledown narrates the story of the Bridgerton siblings: Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth. At the start of London's social season, overseen by Queen Charlotte, eldest Bridgerton daughter Daphne has been promised to marry the detestable Lord Berbrook by her eldest brother Anthony. When Berbrook accosts Daphne, the mysterious Simon Basset, the Duke of Hastings, steps in to help her. They agree to fake a courtship with each other to stop their families from plotting further romances. Simon Basset's mother had died while giving birth to him, and his father was a cruel man, leading Simon to swear to his dying father that he would never sire an heir to the Basset name. Simon was then raised by Lady Danbury, who, unaware of Simon's vow, is trying to find him a suitable wife. Throughout their fake courtship, Daphne and Simon grow closer and develop real romantic feelings for each other. When Friedrich, the Prince of Prussia, becomes interested in proposing to Daphne, she runs away and shares a kiss with Simon. Unfortunately, Daphne's rival Cressida sees the kiss, which could ruin the honor and reputation of both Daphne and Simon. Later, Simon tells Daphne they can't marry due to his inability to have children, but Daphne chooses to marry Simon anyway to save their reputations. The two get married and fall madly in love, moving to Simon's home in Cliveden. Things get complicated when Daphne discovers it's not easy being a duchess, and are complicated even further when she discovers that Simon has the ability to have children, but chooses not to. Feeling lied to, Daphne leaves Cliveden and returns to London. When Daphne learns of Simon's tragic upbringing from Lady Danbury, she begins to realize the intentions behind his vow. And when Simon spends time with the younger Bridgerton siblings, he begins to soften on his vow against children, leading to him and Daphne reconciling. Elsewhere in Season 1, eldest Bridgerton brother Anthony is in an on-again, off-again relationship with Sienna Rosso. Due to Sienna's lower-class status, Anthony keeps their relationship a secret. Despite their love for each other, Sienna gets tired of their hidden romance and finally breaks things off with Anthony for good. Benedict Bridgerton is tired of the pressures and responsibilities of his family name, and instead dreams of becoming an artist. Meanwhile, Eloise Bridgerton becomes determined to discover the true identity of the mysterious Lady Whistledown. And the Bridgertons aren't the only family with a story worth telling. The Featheringtons are another family from high society, but their patriarch, Lord Featherington, has developed a severe gambling problem that threatens to ruin them financially. There are three Featherington daughters, Prudence, Philippa, and Penelope, who is best friends with Eloise Bridgerton and harbors a secret crush on Colin Bridgerton. Lord Featherington invites distant cousin Marina Thompson to stay with them while finding her a suitable husband. Marina is already in love with a man named George Crane, who is off fighting the war in Spain. Marina is pregnant with George's child, meaning the Featheringtons would need to find her a husband quickly before the baby is born. Lady Portia Featherington fakes a letter from George, breaking up with her, which prompts Marina to move on. She gets engaged to Colin Bridgerton, which upsets the jealous Penelope. When Lady Whistledown publishes a newsletter revealing to everyone that Marina was pregnant, Colin and Marina call off their engagement. Marina is then visited by Philip Crane, who tells her that his brother George had died in battle, but had been very much in love with her and intended to marry her. Philip offers to marry Marina in his brother's place, and she reluctantly accepts. With Marina and Colin now broken up, Penelope finally has a chance to profess her true feelings. But before she can, Colin tells her that he is leaving London to travel the world. As the season comes to a close, a heartbroken Anthony resolves to finally find a wife, though he has sworn off love for good. Lord Featherington's debts catch up to him and he is murdered. Daphne and Simon are delighted at giving birth to a son, and Penelope Featherington is revealed to be the mysterious Lady Whistledown. 2026 is here, and once again, my resolution is to eat healthier. That's been my goal for several years now, but the time it takes me to find appealing recipes, go to the grocery store to buy all the right ingredients, and then you add in all the prep work and cooking time, and I'm falling back into my old unhealthy habits before the calendar even hits February. But that's all changed thanks to Hungry Root, the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry Root is basically a personal nutrition coach and personal shopper all in one. They recommend different recipes and meals based on my needs and preferences, and ship everything I need straight to my door. With Hungry Root's recipes, I grilled up some tasty burgers with a side of potatoes. And outside of the recipes, I've started my day with an incredible breakfast sandwich that I just pop in the microwave. Hungry Root has over 50,000 different recipes to choose from each week, plus they've got so many other grocery options like yogurt, smoothies, supplements, desserts, and more. I've tried several different meal delivery services in the past, and I can honestly say Hungry Root beats them all. I love their variety in not only their recipes, but in the ease of making the meals. Sometimes I'm in the mood for cooking a nice dinner like this creamy vodka pasta, and sometimes I just want to pop something in the oven like this ready-made chicken tikka naan toasty. And thanks to Hungry Root, I can do all of that with the confidence that what I'm eating is healthy and made with nothing but the best ingredients. So why not take advantage of this exclusive offer? For a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box, plus a free gift in every box for life. Click the link in the description or go to hungryroot.com and use promo code RECAP at checkout. That's 40% off your first box and a free gift of your choosing for life at hungryroot.com with promo code RECAP. Thanks again to Hungry Root for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recap. In season 2 of Bridgerton, Eloise makes her society debut as an eligible bachelorette, but she is less focused on finding a husband and more focused on finally discovering the true identity of Lady Whistledown. Despite her lack of attention to finding a suitor, Eloise becomes smitten when she meets Theo Sharp at an equal rights rally. As the new debutantes hit the social scene, Anthony Bridgerton searches for the perfect wife, looking exclusively for the perfect business partner to ensure his family's noble position and forsaking the idea of love. As eligible ladies from all around arrive, Anthony meets Kate Sharma, a strong, independent woman who impresses him by beating him in a horse race. Kate is only here for the society debut of her younger sister Edwina and has personally given up on finding a husband for herself. Kate's stepmother, Lady Mary, was named Queen Charlotte's Diamond of the Season when she was younger, but instead of marrying any of the wealthy noble suitors vying for her hand, she chose to marry a commoner, Kate's father, out of love. Because of this, Mary's parents have threatened to disown them and cut them out of their will if Edwina doesn't right her mother's wrongs and marry into English nobility. Kate wants to keep their family's financial struggles a secret from Edwina so she doesn't feel pressured to marry for money, and instead find true love. When Lady Danbury discovers this, she helps the Sharmas by convincing the Queen to name Edwina the Diamond of this season, making her the most coveted debutante and therefore the seemingly perfect match for Anthony. When Kate overhears Anthony coldly judging all of the new debutantes for their qualities as a potential wife, she instantly despises him and makes it her goal to ensure Edwina doesn't marry such a shallow man. As Kate tries to foil Anthony and Edwina's courtship, she discovers that Anthony is a man who always puts his family first, to the detriment of himself, and in turn begins to fall in love with him. As Anthony develops his own feelings for the powerfully independent Kate, he decides to hold off on proposing to Edwina. Daphne Bridgerton returns home to give her brother advice, insisting that he follow his heart. But instead of taking his sister's advice, Anthony remains bound to his familial duty and proposes to Edwina. When Lady Mary's parents arrive to meet Anthony, he discovers the plot to marry Edwina into nobility to secure their inheritance. Feeling played, Anthony contemplates calling off the wedding. Knowing her sister truly loves Anthony, Kate goes against her own complicated feelings and encourages him to move forward with the wedding. During the ceremony, hosted by Queen Charlotte herself, Anthony and Kate can't help but to long for each other, which everyone in attendance, including Edwina, notices. A heartbroken Edwina calls off the wedding on the spot, infuriating and embarrassing the Queen, turning the Bridgertons and the Sharmas into public pariahs. Elsewhere, Benedict Bridgerton is accepted into the Royal Academy School to continue his study of art, but is left struggling with the question of whether he got in based on his own merits or because his brother Anthony donated a large sum of money. Colin Bridgerton returns home from his worldly travels, much to the delight of Penelope Featherington, but he has grown introspective and temporarily swears off women to better himself, much to Penelope's chagrin. Hopeless and frustrated in love, Penelope continues her anonymous writings as Lady Whistledown, now working alongside an accomplice, Madame Delacroix. As Eloise continues her investigation into Lady Whistledown, the Queen begins to suspect that she is in fact the anonymous writer, and orders her to confess or subject her family to even more shame. Wanting to save her friend from the false allegations, Penelope as Lady Whistledown writes a scathing indictment of Eloise's involvement with the equal rights movement. Penelope's plan saves Eloise from the Queen's suspicions, but also ruins her public reputation. In another attempt to help save Eloise's reputation, Penelope convinces her to break up with Theo. Eloise then realizes that her best friend Penelope is in fact Lady Whistledown and ends their friendship. But that isn't the only drama for the Featherington family, as the matriarch Portia becomes worried when the new family heir cousin Jack arrives in town. Fearing she and her daughters will lose their family home to Jack, Portia plots for her daughter Prudence to marry her own cousin. Unfortunately, Jack instead takes an interest in Cressida Cowper and later Portia herself. Colin Bridgerton eventually discovers that Jack is a fraud and helps Penelope expose him, leading to his ouster from the city. As the season comes to a close, Anthony and Kate finally confess their true feelings for each other and share a kiss. Edwina then reconciles with Kate and gives her blessing to pursue Anthony. And so Anthony and Kate decide to publicly pursue their love for each other, and the Queen decides to declare that halting Anthony's marriage to Edwina was her idea, sparing the reputations of the Bridgerton and Sharma families and allowing Anthony and Kate to get married and have their happily ever after. In Season 3 of Bridgerton, new debutantes make their society debut, including Francesca Bridgerton, though her more introverted and introspective demeanor conflicts with her new responsibilities of wooing the perfect suitor. Fortunately, she finds her perfect match in John Sterling, the Earl of Kilmartin, who is similarly shy and thoughtful. Amidst the excitement of the newest society debuts, Penelope Featherington finds herself struggling with not only finding her own suitor, but also in her relationships with her family and her best friend Eloise. Portia Featherington announces her plan to bestow her family's estate to the first male heir born to her daughters. As Penelope's sisters Philippa and Prudence announce their pregnancies, Penelope is left feeling hopeless. Penelope's relationship with her mother grows strained, as Portia is struggling with the secret that she is living off of money stolen by the conniving cousin Jack. And then there's Penelope's relationship with her best friend Eloise, who is still bitter after discovering that Penelope is in fact the mysterious gossip columnist Lady Whistledown. This has led Eloise to end their friendship and instead befriend Cressida Cowper, abandoning her noble passion for social work to closer align with Cressida's interest in fashion and excess. When Cressida publicly embarrasses Penelope, Colin Bridgerton steps in to comfort her. Penelope rebukes him as she knows that her longtime crush could never love someone like her and will only ever see her as a friend. In anger, Penelope writes a scathing indictment of Colin as Lady Whistledown. In unaware, Colin apologizes to Penelope, and though he ignores the public attack on his character, he has seen the way that Lady Whistledown's past words have impacted Eloise and Marina, leading him to vow to uncover the mystery gossiper and ruin her. Having patched up their friendship, Colin offers to help Penelope attract a suitor through a series of secret rendezvous. During these meetings, Penelope discovers Colin's diary, realizing that he has even more depth than she first realized, along with a passion and talent for writing. Meanwhile, Colin begins to realize that his affection for Penelope is a genuine romantic love, but as he goes to profess those feelings, he discovers that Penelope has successfully earned the favor of the highly sought-after Lord Debling. Elsewhere, Eloise rebukes Cressida for her cruel behavior toward Penelope, leading Cressida to feel genuine remorse, and Eloise and Penelope beginning to reconcile. Cressida is then set up to marry the old but wealthy Lord Greer, ensuring her family retains their societal status. Anthony and Kate return from their honeymoon, happily revealing to the Bridgerton family that they are now expecting a baby. Bridgerton matriarch Violet becomes smitten with Lady Danbury's brother Marcus, and the two bond over their shared experiences with grief over losing their spouses. Benedict Bridgerton takes an interest in the headstrong and opinionated widow Tilly Arnold. As they begin to date, Tilly invites Benedict to take part in a threesome with another man named Paul, which Benedict awkwardly refuses. In turn, Tilly encourages Benedict to explore his sexuality, believing him to be bisexual and having an obvious interest in Paul. Friend of the Bridgertons Will Mondrich is shocked when his young son Nicholas is suddenly named the Baron of Kent following the death of his great aunt. This new title brings new wealth and societal rules for the Mondrich family, who struggle getting accustomed to their new normal. The new expectations put on the family not only involve fancy dinners and hosting balls, but also forces Will to reluctantly sell his cherished club. Meanwhile, as Lord Debling prepares to propose to Penelope, he explains his desire to have a mutually beneficial marriage of convenience, where he will have his freedom to travel the world on on his own, leaving Penelope behind to pursue her own independent interests. Despite wanting a husband that she can share her life with, Penelope is resigned to this arrangement, believing Devlin to be her best chance at finding a husband. Fortunately, Colin finally works up the nerve to intervene, professing his love for Penelope and asking her to marry him instead. Following news of the engagement, Eloise confronts Penelope, demanding that she tell Colin about her secret identity as Lady Whistledown. The pressure grows even more when Queen Charlotte offers a reward for anyone who can expose the identity of the secret gossip columnist. Before Penelope can confess, Cressida proclaims herself to be Lady Whistledown, hoping to claim the reward for herself to avoid having to marry for money. Unfortunately, after her engagement to Lord Greer is revoked, Cressida's father is blacklisted due to shame, and Queen Charlotte refuses to pay the reward due to not believing that Cressida is capable of Lady Whistledown's writing. As Penelope goes to publish her own article, proving herself to be Lady Whistledown and repenting for all of her past writings, she is caught by Colin, who finally realizes the truth. Colin is devastated by Penelope's lies and proclaims that he can never forgive her, though Eloise, Kate, and Anthony all encourage Colin to let go of his anger and forgive her. And so, Colin goes through with their engagement, marrying Penelope in front of all of their family and friends. At the wedding, the shy John works up the nerve to encourage Francesca to be bold and join him on the dance floor. Benedict is inspired by the romantic occasion and realizes his own romantic feelings, finally taking Tilly and Paul up on their offer for a threesome. Despite now being married, Colin and Penelope's relationship continues to be strained, as Penelope wishes to continue writing, while Colin fears Queen Charlotte's response should his new bride be caught. Cressida questions employees at the printing press and deduces that Penelope is in fact Lady Whistledown, using this knowledge to blackmail Penelope by threatening to expose her. Colin comes to his wife's aid, trying to convince Cressida to keep the secret, but instead Cressida demands for double her initial monetary ask and insists that Lady Whistledown help bolster her reputation. And so Penelope decides to take matters into her own hands, publicly revealing herself as Lady Whistledown. She explains that she had always been overlooked by high society and wanted to create an imaginary persona amongst them, though as she gained notoriety, the power went to her head. Now she vows to use her writing for good. Queen Charlotte accepts Penelope's apology and decides to not pursue legal action. And for her own failed plot to score some money, Cressida is sent away by her parents to live with her cruel aunt. Penelope then reconciles with her mother and sisters, using her wealth from her writings to save her family from financial ruin after they are exposed for living off of cousin Jack's stolen money. Colin then proclaims how proud he is to have such a courageous wife, allowing the pair to fully reconcile. Elsewhere, Tilly professes her love for Benedict, finally ready for a committed relationship, but Benedict instead proclaims that she has helped him discover his sexuality, which he wants to explore to the fullest. Eloise returns to her desire of changing the world, but now with a new appreciation for fun and adventure thanks to Cressida. Francesca and John get married and move to Scotland, accompanied by John's cousin Michaela. Eloise decides to join them, hoping to experience more of the world. As the season comes to a close, Philippa and Prudence both have daughters, while Penelope gives birth to a son, making him the official Featherington heir. Colin is now a successful author, as is his wife, who can finally write under her true name, Penelope Bridgerton. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and why not check out this recommended video while you're at it.